Hey there guys, and welcome back to the channel. As always, I appreciate you clicking on this video, joining in the conversation and being here as we talk about some movie and streaming news. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the Monsterverse. It seems that a week rarely passes where we're not talking about Godzilla to some degree. The character is more popular now than he's ever been, which is great to hear as a kaiju fan. But in this video, we're going to be talking about Apple TV+. They've unveiled plans to go forward into the Monsterverse with additional spin-off shows and Monarch Legacy of Season 2, which is great to hear. So let's dive into this article here from Comic Flick News, and let's find out what's going on with the Monsterverse on Apple TV+. So this article is called Monarch Legacy of Monsters, renewed for Season 2, spin-off plans unveiled. Yeah, I mean, Season 2 of Monarch Legacy of Monsters was a foregone conclusion in my mind. That show was massive for Apple TV+. People loved it, the reception was great, and it was only a matter of time before we were going to hear that a Season 2 was confirmed. But having additional spin-off shows is going to be great. Are we going to be following new characters? Are we going to be following new monsters? You know, how are they going to play out? It's going to be an exciting time to dive further into the Monsterverse on Apple TV+, that's for sure. So, exciting news for fans of Monarch Legacy of Monsters. Apple TV Plus has officially confirmed a second season for the series, alongside the announcement of multiple spin-offs. The long-awaited announcement arrived on Thursday, solidifying the show's future and further enriching and expanding the Monsterverse. Like I say, I mean, there's so many directions you could go with a spin-off, following new monsters, following new kind of lore and mythos of the Monsterverse, things that we may have not covered yet. Showing the events of Godzilla x Kong, but showing it from a different point of view. That would be quite interesting. So it'd be interesting to see how these spin-offs work, you know, the timeline of these spin-offs and what characters and what monsters they're going to follow. But I'm sure more news will be unveiled at a later stage. So in collaboration with Apple TV+, a fresh deal has been inked to bring additional spin-offs to the platform, alongside the highly anticipated second season of Monarch Legacy of Monsters. The decision comes on the heels of the inaugural season's success, which concluded in January. While anticipation for the second season simmered among fans, its official confirmation brings clarity to the show's trajectory. Yeah, I mean, we've had recent comments come out as well from producers behind Godzilla x Kong, saying that they're fully going into more Monsterverse movies going forward due to the reception of Godzilla x Kong, which is great to hear. And now we've got this announcement of spin-off series and a second season of Monarch Legacy of Monsters. So there's going to be no lack of kaiju or Monsterverse content going forward, guys. So if you're a Monsterverse fan, this is all the news you could ever dream for. You're not going to be short of any Monsterverse content going forward for the next few years at least, which is great to hear. So while details regarding the cast and characters of the second season remain under wraps, the planned spin-offs promise exciting new adventures within the Monsterverse. Yeah, like I said, there's so many different directions you could go. In different timelines, you could set a prequel, you could set it into the future, you could set one of the shows at the same time that Godzilla x Kong is happening, but, you know, show the events happening from a different person's perspective, or something that was happening on the other side of the world at the same time. You could set it in the Hollow Earth. There's so many different things you could do in different monsters you could follow. I mean, there's untapped amount of, you know, kaijus that we could follow. You know, and delve kind of into the lore and history of in one of these spin-off shows. So Morgan Wendell, head of international development at Apple TV+, expressed enthusiasm for the franchise's expansion in a statement. Monarch Legacy of Monsters has left an indelible imprint on our hearts, minds, and imaginations of audiences around the world, led by the brilliance of Chris, Matt, Kurt, Wyatt, and the incredible, gifted, talented cast and creative team. We couldn't be more excited for viewers to not only have the chance to experience even more thrills in Season 2, but to embark on epic new journeys in the franchise as we expand Legendary's Monsterverse. Yeah, man, I love the Monsterverse. I mean, it doesn't feel the same as what it did when it first came out. That first Godzilla movie in 2014, it had a more of a serious kind of approach to it. It had more kind of muted, you know, gothic tones to it, I would say. The movie was very, very dark and gritty. But then as the Monsterverse has kind of played out, it's become a bit more fantastical, a bit more kind of mythical, a bit more kind of silly, a bit more kind of, I don't know what the way of saying it is, kind of a bit more comical, a bit more funny, but they've really, you know, dived into the mythical aspect of it, especially in the last movie, having all these apes on the Hollow Earth, and, you know, having Shimu, this big giant frost dragon, and all this kind of crazy, kind of cheesy, corny kaiju stuff, but I absolutely love it. The tone is very different, like I said, from that first Godzilla movie, but it's great seeing these huge kaijus on screen just fighting each other. That's all you need. You don't need Oscar caliber performances. You don't need great dialogue. Just have some great kaiju action on screen. That's pretty much all people are looking for. And it seems to have worked because Godzilla x Kong has made quite a lot of money. And we'll have to see where its worldwide box office actually ends up at. So MonsterVerse reaches new heights of popularity. Absolutely it has. With the recent blockbuster release of Godzilla x Kong, The New Empire, the MonsterVerse continues to dominate the silver screen. Celebrating its 10th anniversary since the 2014 debut of Godzilla, the franchise has amassed over $2 billion in box office revenue over the past decade. Yeah, outside of the MCU, the MonsterVerse is probably only one of the only other shared cinematic universes that has been as successful. You know, like, the MonsterVerse has just made absolutely ridiculous amounts of money, and fans, you know, there doesn't seem to be any slowing down of, you know, fans wanting more MonsterVerse content, which is great to hear. But like I said, as a shared cinematic universe, they seem to be doing something right. You know, DC tried it with their characters. I know it's a slightly different franchise, and comic book characters to kind of kaijus, I know how it's a bit different. But, you know, where DC failed, you know, the MonsterVerse has, you know, been doing really well in its shared cinematic universe, which is great to see. So, and that's just the beginning, with additional revenue streams pouring in from merchandising, live experiences, and other ventures associated with the brand. Yeah, I bet the amount of toys they sell over Christmas, like Godzilla, Kong, and all this kind of stuff, the toys that they sell, they probably generate so much damn money, especially with all the merchandise like hoodies, t-shirts, all that kind of stuff as well. So, Monarch Legacy of Monsters, the official series description, reads, delves into the aftermath of Godzilla's epic battle and the revelation of real-life monsters. The show follows two siblings tracing their family ties to secretive organization Monarch, spanning generations and uncovering buried secrets along the way. Starring Kurt Russell and Wyatt Russell as Army Officer Lee Shaw, the series offers a gripping narrative set in the 1950s and beyond. As the first season of Monarch Legacy of Monsters continues to captivate audiences on Apple TV+, the MonsterVerse's popularity shows no signs of waning. And obviously that comes to us from Apple TV+. Yeah, absolutely. People were hungry for more and more MonsterVerse, especially after the latest Godzilla x Kong movie. It was so damn fun. Like I said, it turned your brain off, dumb fun. Don't get me wrong, like the plot holes and, you know, the dialogue and some of that was just really bad. But the actual on-screen fights with the monsters, the CGI was great, the cheesiness was great, and the designs of the monsters as well was absolutely incredible. So, you know, I throw it off to whoever designed the monsters because they look great. But yeah, it doesn't seem that, you know, it doesn't seem to be slowing down. The MonsterVerse is kicking into high gear. We're getting more MonsterVerse shows on Apple TV+. We're getting more MonsterVerse movies coming out in the next few years as well. So it's a great time to be a Godzilla, Kong, Kaiju fan. And this is great news to hear. But guys, jump into the comment section. Let me know what you think about this. Are you interested in more MonsterVerse coming soon on Apple TV+? And, you know, on the big screen, you know, in movie format as well? What do you think about this news? And as a spin-off series on Apple TV+, where do you think that they should go with a spin-off, spin-off streaming show with the MonsterVerse? Is there any particular monsters you want them to follow, or characters, or anything like that? If there is, guys, throw it into the comment section and let me know what you think about that. I'd love to hear what you have to say. But as always, thank you so much for checking out my content and being here. It means a lot, guys, and I will see you in the next one.